Lots of cloud swooped in today. Still pretty warm as well. That's why you can hear a lot of airplanes flying all over the place, people doing tours and so forth. And what's going on today? I guess in terms of flying around in places like the US, they're going to introduce things like Remote ID soon. And I guess companies like DJI, they're announcing which products actually have Remote ID support, or possibly you could download things like a firmware to make it, I guess, Remote ID compatible. This one by DJI says, DJI, the global leader in civilian drones and creative camera technology, is dedicated to providing our valued customers with important updates regarding the compliance with the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration's Remote Identification Regulation. Remote ID refers to a drone's ability to transmit identification and location information during flight, which can be received by relevant parties. By implementing Remote ID, the FAA aims to enhance situational awareness, streamline airspace management, monitor compliance, and support law enforcement efforts. According to the FAA, all drone pilots required to register their UAS must operate their aircraft in accordance with the final rule on Remote ID beginning September 16, 2023. And it says all DJI drones manufactured after September 16, 2022, such as Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 3 Classic, Inspire 3, and DJI Mini 3, all have built-in Remote ID capabilities. What can you do about their other products? According to this, you have three choices. Number one, update the drone's firmware. Several of DJI's latest and most popular drone models have obtained or will soon receive firmware updates to support Remote ID functionality. These updates guarantee that you can adhere to the FAA's Remote ID regulations. The next one is purchase a separate broadcast module. In cases where certain drone models cannot receive firmware updates for Remote ID, customers have the option to purchase a separate broadcast module. This module can be retrofitted onto your drone and broadcasts identification and location information as required by the Remote ID rules. And the third one, fly within FAA recognized identification areas. FRIAs are specific locations recognized by the FAA where drones can operate without the need for Remote ID transmission. I would imagine those are basically fields and so forth established by certain organizations. And as well, they created this list of sort that show you which ones require, for example, a broadcast module, or which one has firmware updates in the future that would enable you to stay compliant. So let's see what happens with this. It'd be kind of interesting because I know a lot of people, they don't agree with it, but they'll just do it anyways because they have too much to lose per se. For example, just about drone regulations and stuff, I remember reading a debate online where one person was specifically on that FAA board or something like that, and people were saying this is not the right way to do it. The only way to do it, for example, is to quote ignore it. That's what a lot of people would believe, and he was kind of implying, oh well, it would make sense in this case, but he just can't do it because commercially he has too much to lose. He has a business and all that. So there is that aspect where a lot of people are, I guess, just going to go with it because you can't fight the quote, I guess, system in many ways, huh? Then again, if the past couple of years have shown anything, it's many times it just takes a bunch of people to say enough is enough if it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, are you willing to endure all the hardship? I mean, it doesn't matter what the topic is. You can think of history and all that. Think of it a topic where people were being discriminated against. I don't doubt where anyone that spoke up, they probably lost their jobs, for example, got ridiculed by the public, where nowadays we look back and say, wow, that's ridiculous. But I would imagine it would be the kind of the same situations. The stereotype here is anyways, people in the US are more, I guess, rebellious if they're against certain, let's just say, regulations and all that. So it'd be kind of surprising if no one actually does anything, like a small minority of people maybe, but not, let's just say, a huge chunk of the population. I know that's why people are shocked, like here, when you see mass protests and so forth, like Canadians protesting, they're supposed to be one of those do as you're told type of people. I guess my thought of that would be, for the most part, that does seem to be the case for a lot of people here. They're afraid to say anything. But at the same time, if you see someone, I guess, doing a protest all of a sudden, like a mass one, you push them to the limit, because usually they are a do as you're told type of, I guess, group of people. So let's see what happens with this, I guess, in the US. I believe in the US they're celebrating the 4th of July today too, right? And I was reading how for a drone light show, apparently there was a Guinness World Record. It was this one here. It says, congratulations to the team at Sky Elements USA for setting a new record for the largest aerial sentence formed by drones. As to how many drones they use, it says 796 drones took to the sky over North Richland Hills, Texas, to wish visitors a happy 4th of July. And you can see the celebration photos and stuff from the team and all that. As well, they had other, I guess, displays with the drones. For example, things like an eagle with a flag and all that. So that's kind of cool. It makes me think too, because when it comes to Guinness World Records, people say there's a record for everything you can think of, no matter how crazy it is. So in this case, since it deals with sentences, is the next thing gonna be the world's largest, for example, eagle with a drone light show, and every other specific animal people can do that for a world record? That'd be kind of crazy. Either way, happy 4th of July for people in the US too. Alright, see you guys later.